Welcome to Thrive and Serve, where we explore how thriving as our most authentic selves powerfully amplifies our impact. I'm your host, Colin Scotland, and today we're talking about the unique journey of the solopreneur. Overwhelm, confusion, isolation, all of those things that make it a challenge to be in the game of business alone. Take a deep breath with me. And let's begin. Being a solopreneur is a very unique experience. It's one where we feel a great sense of excitement and calling to do the thing that we're setting out to do something a little different, to do something on our own, whether from a corporate background or working in an organization or a 9-to-5, and then moving into this sense of, I'm going to build my own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. I joke with my friends, I'm really unemployable. I hate being told what to do. And so for me, the journey of being an entrepreneur is an empowering one because I get to tell myself what to do and to decide how and where I spend my time. And most entrepreneurs generally are looking to create freedom for themselves in one form or another. Now, that may be freedom of time, which it is for me because I don't like to be told I've got to be here at this time or there at that time and do this and do that. And the freedom to spend your time as you wish, to do the things that you want to do. The other is freedom of finances, and this is where we have an abundant flow of money as a result of our work that allows us to do the things that we want to do, in addition to serving people through our work. And so they are two of the main kind of freedoms that people look for as entrepreneurs. What is that freedom for you? What is your motivation for being on this journey? What are you doing this for? And when we are on this journey, it's very unique because we are working on our own, we are working in isolation, and we are really excited about the thing that we're doing. But there is this giant world in front of us. And when we look out into the giant world, we see a massive amount of possibility and opportunity. It's a blessing and a curse to an entrepreneur because the entrepreneurial mindset is very creative and we see opportunities in everything. And with that comes a curse of being potentially pushed and pulled in all manner of directions. Ooh, look at that shiny object over there. Let me go and have a look at it. And it draws our attention like a cat chasing a light or a ball of wool, following it round. Let's face it, the online business world is vast and it's easy for overwhelm to set in, as it does for all of us at some phase, at some stage in the journey, because there are so many interesting things and there are so many possibilities that it's hard to settle on one. And we find ourselves being pushed and pulled and blown in the wind like the sea in a storm, just blown from one thing to the other, not sure where and how to focus our time, our energy, and our attention. And this sense of overwhelm does a lot of disruption to our process, our flow, and the progress that we make. Because when we feel overwhelmed, all of a sudden now we are not able to make forward progress because it paralyzes us. It creates this sense of, I don't know which way to turn. I don't know what to do for the best. And that overwhelm brings with it confusion, lack of clarity, lack of knowing what to do, when to do it, all of those things. And that creates an energy of scarcity, an energy of fear, an energy of, why am I even doing this? Can I do this? Am I worthy of this? Am I good enough to do this? Nobody wants what I do. All of these questions that are completely irrational and irrelevant come up simply because we don't have clarity. We don't have a clear strategy. We feel overwhelmed. And so what you find is that we'll often look outside of ourselves for help, for advice. And we look to people who've walked the path, who seem to be outwardly successful, who seem to be doing those things that we want to do for ourselves. And we look at their way of doing it, their method, and we can be drawn in and taken in on that process. Like, that's the thing that I need to do for me. And it's not. It never is. So somebody else's process is never your process because they're not you. The mistake that we make as solopreneurs is we get sucked in, we get drawn in, and we feel like applying their process in our circumstance will fix and give us that freedom that we're looking for. But it rarely happens because their circumstance is different to yours, is different to mine, is different to the next person in line, and so on. And what that does is it adds to the overwhelm. It just fuels that sense of overwhelm, frustration, confusion, because things don't seem to work. And then when things don't seem to work, it perpetuates this negative belief of, this isn't working, I'm not working, therefore I'm broken and I'm not good enough and I can't make this work and I can't make a go of this business. Happens at all levels, whether you are just starting out or you're quite established and you're scaling and you're growing. These cycles happen almost on loop in the process. It's part of the journey. Sense of overwhelm, disconnection, and an anxiety that brings with it, and then resetting of, here's what we're doing, here's how we're going to get to results, and a doubling down on effort and energy. And so all the time with this, it's important for you to have a very clear sense of why you're doing this thing in the first place, and have a clear sense of that. Remind yourself of that daily. Anchor yourself in the reason that you're doing this thing. Stay anchored in that reason. Nietzsche says, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. And what that means for you as a solopreneur is, when you stay fixed on the reason you're doing this, your why, then you will still make progress. You will still put one foot in front of the other, even when the flaming arrows come, when doubt comes, when overwhelm comes, when confusion sets in. You'll still persevere and do what it takes to make this happen, because you are fixed on the outcome and the reason behind the action that you're taking, behind the thing that you're doing. And so it's always important to stay aligned and in integrity with the very thing, the very reason that you're doing this thing in the first place. Once you have an anchor, then the next part is about action. And it's what Buddha called right action. So taking action every day, sitting at your laptop every day, or going to a coffee shop, or whatever it is that you do, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make a successful business. What will make a successful business is right action. So this is where the lack of strategy as a solopreneur often causes a lot of people to fall flat, because they don't know that they don't know, and end up doing what you think is right, what you're told is right, but it doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't get you results. It doesn't get you a successful, thriving business. And so having that clear strategy it's actually difficult when you're first starting out, because you don't know that you don't know. You may well be an expert in your field, but you don't know the best way for you to put you out into the world in a way that attracts new clients. You don't know the best way for you to grow your business from one level to the next, from just getting started to your first 100K. From your first 100K to your first $250,000. From your first $250,000 to your first 7-figure year, or 7-figure quarter, or 7-figure month, and beyond. So having clarity in these areas really is critical. And how do you get clarity? Well, one of two ways. You continuously develop your ability, your skill, your understanding, and you continuously stretch and change your thinking. You continuously change how you view the possibilities for you, for your business. And the second is that you establish a network around you of trusted advisors, not just some guru on the top of a mountain that looks like they're super successful, so you throw a load of cash at them to learn their ways, oh master. I'm talking about real meaningful connections with people around you who you can rely on, who you can trust, and who can advise you because they've walked that path, who can advise you because they too have been on the same journey, and they can point you out the pitfalls, the dead ends, the chasms that will stop you in your tracks, and all of those things that affect your progress. Development of self, development of network, so that you can collaborate with others and overcome challenges in a way that are very difficult to do alone. Because when we try to do these things alone, we run up into all kinds of issues about not knowing that you don't know. So having an outside perspective can be massively helpful. And it also helps in keeping you grounded in that reason that you're doing this thing in the first place, so that you get into right action. Because without it, what happens is you fall into the trap of procrastination, of a lack of motivation, or a lack of right action, a lack of actually doing those things that are going to get you to results. And often we spend most of our time doing things that aren't actually moving us towards that thing that we want. When we share the journey with others, it's often more fun. It's often lighter and easier, and we make more progress as a result. So my encouragement to you is to continue work on self and to continue work on building that network of trusted people around you. Find a community, find spaces where you can be you and express you, share that journey with others going through similar things, and the results, you will be so much more resilient. You will make more progress in your business, and you will achieve those things that you're setting out to achieve: freedom of time, freedom of finances, and all of the things that caused you to start this journey in the first place. Thank you for joining me today on Thrive and Serve. I'm Colin Scotland. If you found this content helpful, please review, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, when we thrive in service of others, it lights our path and the path of those around us. So go, let your unique light shine in the world in the way that only you can. I'll see you next time.